Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the State Out podcast. Today we got on Danny, Hunter, and myself, and we also have a special guest, Bishop Bino.
Yeah, man.
Yes,
Hey
sir.
yo, what's up, man?
Glad to
This
have you
is
on, man.
this is
Glad to be on.
the boy that made it happen. Helped us out
Yes,
producing and
sir.
everything. Met him at work. We are fellow trainers. We knew each other before that, but you know,
Yeah.
got to talking. A little networking.
Become a big stepping stone for sure.
Yes, sir. We
Yeah,
appreciate
that's a
your
lot.
help though, for real.
Oh, no worries. No worries.
I
I'm
can't
happy to
stress
help
that.
out.
Yeah.
So, what's your story?
Well, man,
Wherever you'd like to start.
sheesh. I can go back to 2009, man. I started out recording videos on my cell phone.
Mm.
I was doing like highlight tapes for the varsity basketball team. I wanted to hoop real bad, but I was kind of too short. I was only like 5'3".
Yeah.
So they
Damn.
put me on the freshman B team. So I had to sit through all the games before I could get back on the bus. And instead of just being bored, man, I'm like, you know what? Let me just record some stuff because varsity was going off. I'm talking alleys, threes, everything.
Damn.
So I started recording and I showed the coach, and he kind of brushed me off like, man, get away from me, fresh. I don't want to see all that. We got work to do. But then I started putting it together and giving it to the players. And a lot of people were able to send off tapes to their colleges and stuff
Oh
like that.
damn.
I actually have a homie, shout out to Dominique Flem. He got accepted to, I think, 3 or 4 colleges just off that one tape. And we were able to not only send it off, but then he got a job as well based on that same tape. So it was pretty dope.
Job as a coach or
As a
what?
coach, man,
Okay.
it's crazy.
Damn.
I
What
think he
level?
works in Arkansas at a university.
Oh, dope.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's pretty dope.
Damn.
Damn.
So, what is you're a videographer? Is that what you would consider
I'm a
yourself?
videographer. I'm a photographer, audio engineer. I'm a Bino, man. I
Yeah,
do it
Yeah.
let's
all.
go back to that. What does that
Yeah,
stand
what is
for?
Bino?
Bino stands for Blessed Individual with Numerous Occupations.
Got it. Okay.
So I'm kind of a conglomerate. I'm all over the place. I
And
do a
then
lot of
Bishop
different
stands
things.
for what again?
Bishop is just a name that they gave me because I grew up in the church.
Okay.
So they put it together. Everybody had a Bino name in the group that I was in, a creative group called Them Binos.
Okay.
So I had Bishop Bino. That was me.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
Dem Binos?
Them Binos.
That's kinda hard.
DEM. Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope. And you're from Texas, correct?
From Texas, man.
Texas.
Born and raised. Yeah.
Okay.
What part Texas?
Houston, Texas.
Oh, Houston. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
like the more city, like Dallas almost. Or
Yeah. Houston and Dallas are kind of like a
they're
little
similar.
similar, kind of a
Okay.
rivalry as well.
Yeah.
Too,
Okay.
Oh, really?
So where did videography is that a word?
Videographer.
It's okay.
Where did it take you?
It took me to a lot of different places actually. When I got to college, I got connected with a group called Crooked Straight, and they were all over the place doing like modeling and stuff like that. That we had a group with. It had models, it had different creatives, producers, audio engineers, and we just started doing videos all over campus. So when they would have like talent shows and stuff like that, they'd just hit us up in the group message. They're like, "Hey, we got this event going on. We want everybody to show up." So I was able to just create content and post it. And that ended up taking me to different gigs like graduation shoots, different events that were happening on different college campuses. So I was able to travel a little bit, doing that and keeping my camera around me. But mostly it took me back to the church where I grew up at, and it took me to starting a company with live streaming, going around
Okay.
doing sound, different things like that. Yeah.
Oh, good. How did you learn all this? From YouTube or like you went to school?
YouTube University.
Yeah.
YouTube University. Same thing. Learning instruments. I never really had. My first instrument was piano.
Okay.
Never really had a piano teacher, but I looked at YouTube all the time, and I would just watch what people were doing, and going from learning how to play piano to learning how to change different EQs on mics, and learning how to set up camera settings and things like that. Learning what gear I should have, how to set lighting, how to
Yeah.
get skin tones correct. All those
Yeah.
different things I learned from YouTube.
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
Shit.
That was low key gibberish, but
Yeah. Yeah. So
EQs and all that shit.
yeah. So you said that you started a company with it.
Yeah, I started a company, Bino Way LLC,
Okay.
based out of
Do
Texas.
you still have it?
I still have
Okay.
it.
Cool.
I got to pay my taxes, but don't tell them that.
Yeah. I feel that.
That's
So
cool.
what does the company consist of?
Really, it's just ran by me. Whatever I need to do, I set it up so that I could be exactly who I am.
Mhm.
Different things, graphic design, audio engineering, all that good stuff. Just doing whatever I need to do. I didn't set it for just one thing because I knew there was so much that was inside of me and I had such a great vision, so I wanted it to be very broad. I didn't want it to just be one thing.
Yeah.
And what is your vision?
My vision is to have my own studio set up. I want to be able to travel and set up live concerts, different
Okay.
events, stuff like that. I want to have my own gear where people can rent it out if they need to. I want to have a multitude of cameras, man. That's one of my biggest thing. I'm looking forward to getting a Black Magic Pocket Cinema. That's probably a foreign language right now, but
Yeah, it
the
is.
creatives out there, they know, that's like a 6K camera. So,
Oh damn.
Damn.
man, it doesn't take much work. It makes it a lot easier. So
Yeah.
I definitely want that. I want my business to go to a level to where I can stop working. That's the
Mhm.
biggest thing. I
Yeah.
want it to make money for me while I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's the goal, bro.
Facts.
Dude, I've gone to some concerts and I've seen the video productions. Like I've sat behind, like, the center stage.
yeah.
I've sat behind one of those and it looks so bizarre just seeing all their fucking like
Sheesh.
their controls and how many cameras they have set up. And I've seen those like big ass fucking ones they use at like sports events and shit.
Yeah.
Those
Like
shits are
TV
crazy.
production
Those
and
TV
shit.
production
Yeah.
ones,
Yeah.
Yeah.
those shits
man.
are crazy. I think that would be pretty cool, like a cool place to take it if I were in your shoes.
Yeah.
That would be like some inspiration for me,
Most
Yeah.
definitely.
seeing it
Most
from
definitely.
the
Who do you
back.
shoot for? Just like small companies or like?
So right now I do live streaming for churches.
Okay.
I help people set up things and grow their video and their
Yeah.
media. So that's the main thing that I'm focusing on right now, helping churches get to where they can stream, because like going through the pandemic, a lot of churches fell off because they were not able to reach their people because they couldn't come out.
Yeah.
So the thing that I was driving was, let me help you set up your live stream. Let me help you get something that's tangible for people on their cell phones, on their laptops, on their computers.
Yeah.
Having Facebook and YouTube and all this. And this is actually, believe it or not, it was a foreign language to a lot of churches because you have a lot of older people there and
Mhm.
they really don't know that they need that. They're
Yeah.
thinking, the regular congregation where we come in on Sunday morning is the only way, but it's a lot more to it. The younger generation, sometimes we don't want to get out of bed. Sometimes we want to just pick up our phone and we want to watch church online if we have
Yeah.
to. Even sports events, sometimes we don't want to go out. We don't want to buy the ticket, and having it on television is the best thing. And I look at churches the same way. You should be able to have it accessible to you at any time,
Yeah.
because that recording doesn't go away. It just, once we record it, it's there. It's in the cloud, or it's on your YouTube, it's on your Facebook, so you can access it at any time.
Yeah, I think there was a big force toward doing that for churches during COVID,
Oh yeah.
because during COVID people couldn't go to church,
Mm.
so that they're kind of forced to put it on TV.
Yeah,
They were doing
yeah.
a lot of Zoom too, huh?
Yeah, a lot of Zoom. And
That's
that was
crazy.
one of the things that I did. I think I did a master class on how to set up Zoom and how to use all the functions, because Zoom has a lot more than just meeting. It has
Yeah.
like where you can go into separate rooms, you can
Mhm.
ask
Yeah.
questions, you can actually raise your hand on Zoom too. And a
Yeah.
lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
But once you dive into the program and actually learn what it is, then that's when you're able to share it and able to get the fullness of it.
Yeah.
How was it running that program, teaching people how to use Zoom?
It was like pulling teeth for some. Because believe it or not, man, there's a lot of people that are just not tech savvy.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
need somebody to set it up for them, and they just sit there, and then once it's done, okay, come turn it off.
Yeah.
But once you get into it and you be patient with people, I feel like that's the biggest thing. When you have to teach someone something, you have to be patient with them. The same thing on the job is the same thing that I use going into these different rooms. I have to be patient and actually learn the consumer while I'm there, figuring out how do they learn. Are they a visual learner? Do they need to be hands-on? Whatever
Yeah.
it is that they need, that's the thing that I have to learn first, and then I'm able to show them, okay, if you follow these steps, then you can get there. And some people, they just need that pattern. Turn on your computer first,
Yeah.
type in Zoom or click on this icon.
Yeah.
Okay, now put in this meeting ID and this is the password.
Yeah.
Do that every time and it's going to work.
Yeah.
Some people need that.
Yeah.
But then you have the other that's like, okay, show it to me one time and I got it forever.
Yeah.
So you just have to learn the consumer and learn what it is that they
Yeah.
need.
Yeah, because we had Zoom too for school, and like we have like our Zoom meeting, then we'll go into groups, and then the teacher would pop up into the groups, and then like it's random. She's like, "Oh, hello guys!" Like, well, we're like, "What the hell?" It's random as hell. But yeah, dude, that's pretty cool though. But how do you make your money if you're doing it for churches?
So they do pay me to come
do?
in. Yeah.
Okay.
I have a honorarium that I do use. Some churches, if I feel led, I will not charge them based on their budget. You have some churches that do have the budget to pay someone to come in. Some churches don't. Even in some organizations, they have the budget to come in and pay someone, buy the equipment as well, but some don't. So just using my judgment, I really fill out the crowd, see what they're able to do. If they have to use most of their budget to buy equipment, then I won't charge them.
Yeah.
I just do it as voluntary, for the love of the game, because I just love doing it.
Yeah.
But if there's a church that, they are, some people will come to you and be like, hey, I need you to come in and this is what I have for you. And I'll either accept or reject. Most of the time I will accept.
Yeah. Yeah. What church do you go after? Do you go after like certain like Catholic churches? Do you go after Christian churches? What kind of church do you go after?
So I
Do you go after all of them? All of
Go
them?
after everyone, because this is a very broad market.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people that need help.
Yeah.
There are a lot of, some people don't even know they need help, but just being there. If I go to a concert or something, I always talk to someone. If I go to a different event,
Just
I talk
network.
to someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to network, because that's my biggest thing. I feel like for this business, it's a lot of advertising out there, but when you're dealing with people that don't really know about technology, your advertising on social media can only go so far.
Yeah.
So you have to do it the old school way, hand and foot, word of mouth. So
Yep. Yeah. It's
It's
pretty fun.
fire. Where'd you get the like inspiration to start recording on your phone?
Honestly, I was at the game taking pictures of myself,
Okay.
bro. I think this girl seen me and she was like, bro, what are you doing? And I'm like, I was just taking pictures.
Wait, what do you mean you were taking pictures of
I
yourself?
was taking selfies, bro. I had the game hoodie on, I was ready. I
Yeah.
had the team logo on. I was feeling myself.
Yeah.
I really wasn't that
You were
guy.
in high school in what year?
My first year of high school was 2009, 2010.
Was it called selfie back then? I don't think it was called selfie.
Yo, it wasn't. I don't
Yeah,
think
because
so.
I remember selfie became a term like in middle
Really?
school for us.
A
Yeah.
self photo.
Yeah.
What was it
I
called?
was just snapping
Just
it up.
front
Yeah.
camera? What the fuck?
Actually, I
That's
didn't
when they were
even
taking
have
them
a
like
front
this?
Camera,
Yeah.
bro. I had the back camera, and I had
Breaking
to
the
make
wrist.
sure
Oh.
that I could make sure that I had the button.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
So-
was back when I was an Android user.
Yeah. I guess same.
Ooh.
I was there too, 5th grade.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got the inspiration from taking selfies.
Yeah, so the girl was like, what are you doing? Like, why are you not paying attention to the game? And I'm like, dang, she right. But then I still had my phone, and, I just started recording, it was,
Yeah.
actually the game was fire. Like, I think we had like 8 threes back to back in the first
Damn.
quarter,
Mhm.
like the first 2 or 3 minutes. And I'm like, this is going crazy. Like, I got to show them how they showing out, so I recorded them a little bit. And then the guy was like, man, you should do this more often. Because they liked the clips. I started sending it out to people, and then that expanded my network even with that, because I was able to get phone numbers, and people were texting me like, hey, bro, I need you to come to the game. Make sure you're there. Like, don't call in sick.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, leave me alone. But, it
Yeah.
became a thing, and everybody was like, yeah, you can do this.
Did they pay you to record them or no?
Nah,
No.
I didn't get paid.
Just
Back
free?
then, it was just the love of it,
Yeah.
And one of the guys was like a big bro to me, so I was really looking out for him. And then,
Okay.
the other guys on the team were like, I guess I got a clip.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool.
Shoot me $10 and I'll send it your way.
See what's
Yeah.
up,
So is that something you're still interested in? Like filming
Um,
for any type of or any level of maybe even sports in general, just not
It's
basketball?
something that I'm interested in, because honestly, being behind the camera is therapeutic for me.
Mhm.
It's like a stress reliever where I can just zone out and I can be anything in the world if I wanted to. It's kind of like having a crazy imagination as a kid, but through a lens of anything in the world. So for me, I feel like I never lose the interest of it. I did take some time off when I first moved out here. I moved out here in December of 2020. And I
Okay.
took some time off because I didn't have the clientele. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to, really dive into it. I had
Yeah.
to get a job, things like that. Had to support my family, so
Yeah.
I took some time off. But actually, man, hooking up with Stayed Out is what inspired me to get it started
Yeah.
again. So
That's cool.
and I found that passion again and that love for
That's
it.
cool.
Appreciate that, bro.
Why did you move from there to here?
Long story. So I've been married for 6 years.
Okay.
So my wife, she actually was out here getting her master's degree,
Oh, nice.
and yeah, it was
What
like
major?
psychology.
Oh, psychology.
She's a
Okay.
social worker now.
Okay, that's
Nice.
cool.
So while she was out here getting her master's, we were actually separated for a little bit of time. I was in Texas, she was out here, and I'm like, I want to make it work, So I packed up and I came out here, dropped
Yeah.
everything, man. I mean,
Damn.
everything. I packed up my little Mitsubishi Galant.
Oh,
Had a
yeah.
little red Mitsubishi Galant.
Dang.
It was full of like all kind of clothes and camera gear and equipment,
Yeah.
keyboards, guitars, and I rented. I'll never forget. I rented a Dodge Ram, and I
Okay.
drove it all the way out here.
Dodge Ram, you're
A
wasting
Dodge
gas,
Ram.
huh?
Man, bro, it was bad because pulling that car and
The weight.
everything was just bad.
What do you mean you rented a Dodge Ram?
So I went on Turo and got a Dodge Ram because the only car that I had was the Galant.
And you returned the Dodge Ram?
I drove it all the way back to Texas.
Fuck.
Like,
That's
the
some
gas was
dedication,
crazy.
It was crazy, bro.
Yeah.
I think I spent about $3,000 on that trip.
3,000, dude. So
Damn.
I went to Seattle,
Fuck,
right?
man.
We got a Tesla.
Mm.
We went from here to Seattle for the gas and the car. I think the car was maybe like 200 per person, but the gas between all four of us was $400.
Jeez,
So between four people, that's like 100 each. So altogether, it was like $500.
that's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. So
Yeah.
if you do it again, Tesla.
Yeah,
He's
man.
gonna tow
If
his
I
car
do
with
it
the Tesla?
again, I'm just not going to like rent a truck. Because they really taxed me. They hit me with
Yeah.
an underage driver. That was like
Ah.
$300.
Underage.
Fuck
Yeah.
that. I
What do
would
you
have
mean?
walked.
I was like, I think I was 24, 23 or 24.
Don't you have to be 25, huh?
Yeah.
Some
the
of them,
car.
huh?
Yeah.
I
most
think all of them, you have to be 25.
I've seen
25 to
some
rent.
where you can be 18. I've seen some where you could be
Oh.
21. But damn,
Yeah.
you got hoed.
I did, bro. I did. It was pretty bad.
Damn,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. So as of right now, do you have employees that help you out?
I don't. When I was in Texas, I had a lot of volunteers, just people that were interested in it. But out here, I'm trying to build
Yeah.
everything up.
Yeah.
Kind of started a few weeks ago, putting the vision back together and trying to see what I wanted to do.
Okay.
So I'm looking at studio spaces. I actually have a space right now, but it's kind of big enough for just me to create and for me to stretch out. But I'm thinking about expanding it a little bit. So it's gonna take me building walls and things
Yeah.
like that. So I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do. But
Yeah.
most definitely I'm looking to expand, and have my own space where people can come in and just create, and be who they are.
Be creative. Yeah.
Create as in anything?
Anything, bro. My vision is to have a studio that has dance, it has music, it has photography, videography, whatever it is that you want to do. That's what I want to have.
That's pretty cool because like just being in that space with people that are creative,
Yeah.
like get
With
your
that same mindset.
brain flowing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like-minded. Yeah,
definitely. Most
That's
that's
dope.
definitely.
pretty cool.
That is dope.
And back in Texas, did you have clients? But back in Texas,
I did. I had a lot of clients back in Texas.
how many did you have?
So I got to a point where I was doing a photo shoot probably every 2 weeks.
Okay.
So in about a 6-month span, I'm probably not gonna do the math right now, but I had a pretty.
Oh yeah.
If you got the math, send it to us.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah. You're doing that full time?
Yeah, I was doing it full
Okay.
time, especially during the pandemic. You'd be surprised how many people wanted to take pictures during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And then too, a lot of people were pregnant, so
Yeah.
maternity shoots was
Yeah.
going crazy.
A lot of people
Yeah.
were
It's
pregnant.
going
I'm dead.
crazy.
Hell yeah.
How was that change for you going from doing that full time to being over here with FedEx?
So it was a little weird. It was a little
Yeah.
weird, honestly, because during that time as well, after kind of the pandemic was slimming out, I started working as an in-school photographer.
Okay.
So I was able to do that for an actual company called Interstate Studios.
Mhm.
And then I was able to do what I had on the side as well. So it was like that's what I was doing all the time. And then I came out here and it's like a culture shock because I could pick my days off if I wanted to. I could, if I wanted to, I could actually take a week off from doing that, because it was my own schedule. I could literally block out my dates. But now I'm just right back into it doing work every day, and I got to punch somebody else's clock, which it was irritating at
Yeah.
first because I hate taxes. And shout out to California for taking all my money.
Yeah. Is the taxes more here or in Texas? It's more
It's
here,
a
huh?
lot more here.
Yeah. I kind of figured. Yeah, but Do you find it easier to find more clients out here or in Texas?
So I think it may be a lot easier out here
Yeah.
because actually, when I was in Texas, one of the tricks that I used for marketing, I would advertise my stuff out here, and a lot of people were hitting me up like, "Hey, where's your California photo ops? Photo opportunities that you took in California. Just want to see some of your work." And I'm like, "Dang, I really don't have none," because it was just a scheme to get the word out there that I had my stuff in China. And that's where I was advertising it at. But
How
I
did you
didn't.
do that? Through
So
ads?
on Instagram, it has a way where you can set up ads and you can select the city that you wanted to go through. So I
Okay.
had stuff in Africa, Russia,
Damn.
everywhere.
So you're doing Facebook ads?
Instagram, Facebook, all of the
Okay, yeah, yeah.
above.
Because I run those too, and like they help a lot.
Yeah, man, they
Facebook
do.
ads reach a lot of people.
They do. I think when I shot my first vlog for my 23rd birthday, I advertised it on Instagram, and that video right now has 23,000 views on it,
Yeah,
just based off of what I advertised, and that was only a $5 ad.
yeah,
Damn.
yeah,
Fuck yeah.
yeah. You could go a long way with ads. I think more recently it's kind of hard to get more views as compared to like 3 years ago when like people were still kind of figuring out like social media and stuff like that.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, that's
Most
pretty cool.
definitely.
3 years ago was 2020 during COVID
Well,
too.
like,
So like everybody was just on their
yeah,
phone.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
But
yeah.
kind of switching lanes a little bit.
Okay.
You got your little podcast going on now too.
Yeah, man.
What's that about? What's
So my podcast is Legendary Memoirs. I actually just dropped the first episode last Saturday.
hmm
Legendary is just a way of me basically saying that I'm testifying, telling my story, things that I went through. I plan on talking about my experience spending one night in jail,
Oh,
things like that.
yeah,
Like I'm going through the whole life. Just recently, I talked about being honest because I feel like that was something that I struggled with as a kid. Going back to when I was 4 and 5 years old, I couldn't tell the truth for whatever reason. And I talked about that, and I talked about that from being a kid all the way up into college. I had an issue with being honest because I had an issue with actually our call time for the band camp that I was in. It was 3 a.m. and I didn't like it at all. But I couldn't be honest
3
about it.
a.m.
3 a.m.
Why was it so
PT
early?
PT was at 3 a.m. We had a full day. So they wanted us to start early. They didn't want us to start late. And I actually talked about that. The lesson in that, they were like trying to let us know, if you have a full day of work, you can't wait to the last minute. You can't put it off. So they had us getting up at 3. Well, actually, you had to be up at probably 2 to make it across campus and then be there for PT at 3 a.m. And we were in the middle of a parking lot. Everybody has on white t-shirts. It's
3 in the
fogged
morning,
out.
just
3 in
banging
the morning
drums.
doing jumping jacks.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Dog.
Because our band director, he was in the military. Shout out to Dr. Zach. He was in the military, so he would get out there with us, and he makes sure that we were fit. He makes sure that we were ready for what was coming because he knew that there was a storm coming. And that's kind of the plug-in right there. Because
Yeah.
our band name is Marching Storm.
Yeah.
So he knew that it was coming and he
Got
wanted
it.
us to be ready for whatever. Because
Yeah.
we had games where we're in the rain, the
Oh, yeah.
football team going crazy. We got to go crazy too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So he made sure that we were ready for that.
Yeah.
And that came down to campus runs where
Yeah.
he's leading us running around the campus, and our campus is over like 1,000 acres. If I'm
He's
not
doing it
mistaken.
with you guys?
Doing it with us.
Damn, that's hard.
So you guys would practice from like 3 till like 6, and then you have school.
We practice. Well, when school did start, we didn't start practicing until 6 p.m.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
they leave the whole
Oh
day.
yeah. So
But
during the
during
off
camp,
season,
it was like, man, 3 a.m. to probably 10 at night. Yeah,
all day.
all day.
You had no
And then
summer,
you just
no?
repeat.
No summer. You get like probably a month and a half in summer, and then you have to come back early for camp. But
Every single day.
every single day, bro.
That's not even healthy.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. It's and the way that they did it, like the freshman dorms were kind of close to the band hall,
Yeah.
but we had to line up and just march back. Everything was a march. So
Yeah.
you could see at any given time of the night, you could see a group of freshmen just marching back to the dorms, screaming and just tired, everybody sweating and fatigued. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
That's cool though. Like you're creative with music, with photography.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, man. It was
Being
a lot.
creative.
Dude. So what time did you get to bed?
So on a normal day, I'll probably get to bed at 11 because
So you slept like 4 hours, 5 hours.
yeah, probably 4 or 5 hours. I was pretty quick with it. I would get a shower real quick and then go to bed. I wasn't really talking to girls during that time, but of course things did change. But during that time I was really focused because it was something that I wanted, and I felt like in order to really get what I wanted, I had to have that drive and motivation to do it, everything that it took. If that meant, not getting sleep, that's what I had to do. If that
Yeah.
meant getting up early, that's what I had to do.
Mhm.
And I let that carry on into my classes, because I had classes that were early, like
Yeah.
8 a.m., which I stopped at my freshman year because that was no, it wasn't working with all the partying and stuff like that. To be
Yeah.
honest with you, it wasn't working. But when I started to really get a hold of my schedule and everything that I needed to do, that same energy that they gave us in camp was what I used in school.
Oh, dude. Yeah. It carries over for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, man, most
Especially like
definitely.
sports too, you know?
Yeah,
Did you finish college?
I did
What'd you major in?
business administration,
Oh, nice.
specialized in management.
There it is.
That's what I'm doing right
There
now.
it is.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
man, stick with it, bro.
Fuck yeah,
It's
man.
worth it.
Just as long
Why
as
is
I
that?
finish.
It's worth
What
it
do you learn?
because it shows you the ins and outs of businesses.
In terms of
a lot
like
of things-
taxes, you know, like
Yeah,
accounting. Yeah.
all the things that a lot of people won't tell you about the business
Mhm.
side. Things that you should know if you're
Mm.
going to be an entrepreneur or whatever it is that you want to do. They
Yeah.
tell you all those things, and they take you through all the different courses like financial accounting, entrepreneurship, different
Mhm.
things like that. Even IT and statistics and stuff
Oh,
like
yeah,
that. I
yeah,
had to go
stats.
through all of that, man, and it was crazy, but I learned all that, and it's helping me now, being that I am a business owner.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you gotta go ahead.
I was taking financial accounting last semester. It was pretty cool because they taught me how to like the ins and outs of how you should start like a partnership or a LLC or a corporation, and what are
Yeah.
the differences between them all, and what you can profit from the most depending on what your work ethic is. And it's pretty cool
Yeah,
how,
most definitely.
all that knowledge is just fucking crammed into like that period.
one,
It's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
That
So
class is like super knowledgeable, and it opens a lot of doors in that field of business management.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, it does. So do you have a bachelor's in it or an associate's?
I have a bachelor's in it.
Bachelor's. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I'm looking at going back to get my master's in human resources.
Okay.
I want that to kind of be my steady income, or aside from the business. I definitely love working with people. It's
Yeah.
kind of why I became a trainer, because not trying to throw any shade, but I feel like we don't have a lot of people oriented managers.
Yeah.
So I wanted to kind of move up so that people can have that advocate of someone that actually cares about them. So when I come into work, my day starts not even thinking about what I went through before I came, but I'm asking people, how did your day go? How was your night? Were you in traffic? Different things like that. Little small things that make people feel good, make them feel like somebody actually cares about them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Facts.
I appreciate those managers for real though.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
There's
Very
few
few.
of them that are out there.
Very
few. I think like the places that do go with it are like Walmart and Home Depot, because I know at my job, our managers are all about people and not about the numbers. And like I see that a lot. And compared to like the small warehouses, I feel like they're more about the money, and like, if he's not doing right, then he's fired.
Yeah.
Do you get me?
We're completely backwards when it comes to that, though. These people are all about the numbers.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's pretty bad, because when you have a manager that's good with the job functions but not good with the leadership side, it kind of brings the company down.
It
I
does.
actually did a slight study on it. It said like 90 or somewhere like 80% of bad managers can cost companies billions, bro. And it's just
It
because
does, yeah.
the turnover rate and different things like that, people quitting, people not wanting to come into work, it costs the company, because you can't keep that momentum going because you don't have someone there that would make you want to have momentum. You'd be surprised, some of the managers that work on our dock, people like, oh, I got scheduled for this area, and then they come in and their whole mood just changed. Like from what we just talked about in the parking lot to right now, it's completely different, because they realize they're working for a manager that's not gonna, give them that type of energy that they need, not gonna give them that boost. It's pretty
Facts.
crazy.
Yeah, for sure. Like Home Depot too. I had a mentor, and he was saying how if you're trying to go up inside the company, like they want people that are about the people and not about the numbers, because you can know the job functions, but if you're not a people person, then
It's irrelevant.
they don't want you. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So going back to like the church thing, do you have a certain religion that you pull towards?
So I'm not more so religious, more of a spiritual
Spiritual?
person, and
Okay.
I really focus on my relationship. I am a Christian, I
Okay.
grew up that way, but I got away from the religious aspect of it because it's more so a set of rules,
Yeah.
and I don't really focus. My religion is the Bible. I
Yeah.
focus on that and that alone. So anything outside of that is kind of, I challenge it to the Bible. That's the way I abide by it, because I feel like certain things can be man-made, and it may make you feel comfortable or make you feel uncomfortable. So
Yeah.
you have to really fact check it, and
Yeah.
see what it is. So that's the way that I like to live. I'm a Bible-based believer, and I have a relationship with God.
Yeah. I thought the same thing too, because I grew up as a Catholic, and just being in church, like they told you, like you have to stand up at a certain time, you have to sit down, then you have to go get the bread, go drink the wine. And I just felt like it was like to do this, do that, instead of like trying to connect to God. I feel like, and so now I kind of pull towards being a Christian, and like I don't go to church, but I kind of try to connect with Him personally, and so that's kind of how I kind of perceive God
Yeah,
and take Him in.
I feel you. And there's having a structure is good.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Having a structure is good, because the church that I'm in now, the organization is the Church of God in Christ. And we have a structure. We have a presiding bishop, we have a general board, different things like that. And it's a good structure. But for my personal life outside of church, because I believe that I am the church, the church is inside of me. For my personal life, I try to focus on having a relationship and being able to access God at any time outside of just going to church. I can access God in my car. I can access Him in my room. I can access God at any time, and that's what really helps me to keep going. Because imagine if all the churches in the world just blew up. Imagine how many people would be lost because they don't have a relationship. They don't actually pray. They don't actually read the Bible and things like that. They just focus on going to church. And that's not the way that I want to be. I want to be able to function on my own and have independence. So
That's cool.
that's where I am with it.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, because I went to a Christian church maybe like 4 years ago, and
Years?
yeah,
You say years?
yeah, and so they're doing prayer up in their front, like everybody just started crying, and then like this girl came up to the mic and like spoke in tongues. I was like, dude, like this is crazy, and yeah, so it was a cool experience though, for sure.
Oh yeah, man, it's a great experience, because there are so many different avenues to God. Like there are so many different levels that you can get to. And I realized that when I really started reading and really started understanding what it was, and I just began to pray, and I asked God for a deeper relationship, and He began to show me that He's a lot more than what people may show you or what people may teach you. But God has a lot of different levels, and you can actually, it's like playing a crazy video game that take you to level 1000, because you're staying consistent with it, and you have that drive and that motivation to stick with it.
Yeah, for sure.
That was a pretty good analogy.
Yeah.
But as somebody, myself, that is trying to figure out what I believe in, what do you guys like recommend to build the relationship?
The Bible.
Yeah, I would say start with the Bible and start with prayer. If that's something that you want to do. And the craziest thing for me was I asked God to give me a sign. And it may seem like, some people are like, oh, that's crazy. You can get a sign from anywhere. It could be anything. But my sign was actually in my sister's health. She was sick with the disease called encephalitis. And at the time, it was only like 8 people in America that had this disease. So the doctors were dumbfounded, scientists were dumbfounded. Nobody could help her out. She literally got down to the point where she was just skin and bones, and she didn't know where she was. She didn't have the cognitive ability. She didn't have muscle memory. She didn't have anything. She could just lay there, and then at any given moment, she could just like zone out, and kind of pass out, and it seemed like we wouldn't get her back. But going from laying in the hospital bed to not being able to move, to actually walking into a church one day, and she was in full capacity, like to the point where she just started really praising God. It showed me that God can actually do something. because it took a lot of prayer, it took a lot of faith. But
Mhm.
when we actually put our faith into action, things started to change. Our health started to turn around, and even the doctors were able to do research and find different things, based on her stuff turning around. And now, if someone does have encephalitis, I'm pretty sure that anyone that goes to that doctor or talk to those scientists, they'll be able to find out what they need to find out just based on her being able to turn around.
What is encephalitis?
So it's kind of like a mental disorder, but also, if I'm explaining it correctly, it's a mental disorder, but it's also a health disparity that kind of takes away your ability to do different things. And I kind of really don't know much about it because I was still young when it happened.
Yeah.
I think I was 14, and my parents didn't let us go to the hospital because it was kind of hard to see. But I know that she did lose a lot of her cognitive ability, and she wasn't there mentally, to where sometimes she would just be walking down the street, and she didn't even know us. She would get scared and just run away from us because she didn't remember us. And it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to see you come on here and be vulnerable for a little
Yeah.
bit.
Oh, yeah,
Appreciate
man.
that.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest and tell you the truth.
Yeah.
But I'm glad she got the turnaround that she did. So you think asking him to show you a sign is the first step?
Yeah, because anytime you need to believe in something, you need to know that it's real, and the best way for you to do that is to have your own experience. And that's something that happened to me as well. I'm able to talk about me going to jail for one night because that was my experience, and I realized that was showing me that there was a God. Because even from times where I'm in my dorm room and God would speak to me, about different things, my experience, he kept pouring into my experience and kept allowing me my experience to grow with him. So now I know his voice. Kind of don't want to go too deep into the Bible here, but the Bible says that my sheep know my voice, and a stranger they will not follow. A lot of times in my life, I was following a lot of strange voices that had nothing to do with God. But then once I learned the real voice, then something clicked in my brain, and now I'm following the right thing. Man,
Deep, bro. Deep.
right there, bro.
Yeah, that's cool though, bro.
That's pretty hard.
But do you think your thoughts can influence your health, or like, for example, like, say if you're sick and you have cancer, right? Do you think by changing your thoughts and thinking that you're healthy, that it changes your health and you're able to improve?
Most definitely, because that's an act of faith. One of the biggest things for us as believers, when we start to think ourselves into a hole, we start to lose faith. And that's where doubt and faith go hand in hand, because doubt is actually and it's like a part of your faith. If you didn't have doubt, you wouldn't need faith. If I'm explaining that correctly, I don't want to go too deep, but when you start to doubt, you start to think yourself into a hole. And this is where we find people having anxiety. They have depression. They have all these different things and all these different thoughts because they're thinking themselves into a hole. But when you change that, that's when you're able to really conquer that. Because I did deal with depression before because of my own insecurities. I thought myself less than what I was. But when I started to really think about that, I was able to conquer that thing, because it's nothing but what you're thinking about yourself. If you think highly of yourself, you will be a great person, And I feel like someone that is sick, changing your thoughts will help you to fight it. But ultimately, with the sickness, you're going to need healing, and you're going to need to take the steps that you need to do. You don't want to be one of those believers that say, well, I'm not going to take my medicine because I want God to heal me. But no, you need to still do that, because there's a reason why your medicine is here. There's a reason why God gave someone the idea to create that thing, so you need to take the necessary steps, but you need to have the faith to do it as well.
Fire. He's on it, bro.
Yeah, dude.
He's on it.
That's good.
Coming baffled.
Man, the spirit is flowing, bro.
Definitely.
Kind of catching this preaching vibe. So let's talk about that a little bit. What made you want to do that?
So
you're a preacher?
I'm a preacher.
Oh,
I'm
dope.
a minister.
Okay.
I've been a minister since 2015. So about 7 years now, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to my 8th year. I was in my dorm room, and I had turned back to smoking weed. And it was a thing for me at one point, but it got to the point where it got old for me and it wasn't my thing anymore, and that was the time where I was supposed to be really devoting myself to God and to the things that I needed to do. And I remember I went into my dorm room and I had just got high. I'm looking in the mirror in the restroom, and I heard God say plainly, "How long will you play with me?" And I'm like, wait a minute. Did I just hear that right? He's like, yeah, you heard that right. How long will you play with me? Because you continue to go back to this thing that I took you out of. Because, smoking weed was never my thing. I just did it because it was in my environment and it seemed like the thing to do, and God was just telling me, I need you to really get focused and get where you need to be. And from then on, I started having dreams of me preaching, leading, and doing different things. And I just went on and accepted it. I couldn't run anymore because God was literally speaking to me directly now, like telling me, I can't let you continue to play. You got to do this thing. So 7 years later, here I am.
Damn, dude, that's cool.
You feel like
Congrats.
that's your purpose?
I do. I feel like God gave me this voice for a reason,
Mhm.
and I need to use it, which is why I started doing my content again, because I have something to say. I have a story to tell. I actually wrote a book, but it's not the fullness of what needs to be said. So there are a lot more things that I need to say.
You wrote a book?
I wrote a book.
Is it
bro.
released?
Yeah, it's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon.
What?
Yeah, it's
What's it
Living
called?
In the ING.
What's it called?
What was it
Living
about?
in the ING. It's
Okay.
basically my story from being a little kid to everything that I dealt with within my family. My father, he had an issue with drugs, different things like that. Talking about my mother, my brothers, different things. Just really like a slight
First one that pops up.
biography,
Okay.
but not as in depth as it should have been because it was kind of rushed. It's something I wanted to really
That's
complete.
cool.
But yeah, living in the ING, the continuous fight for victory. And
It's
I
about your
use
life?
that. Yes, it's about my life
Okay.
because I use that suffix ing, which means continuous.
Yes.
And
That's crazy.
Oh,
I'm wearing
fuck.
that right now, actually.
oh yeah,
ING. I don't know if you can see it, but it says
oh
ING
yeah, that's
right
pretty
now.
dope. That's
Yeah.
pretty
Bro,
dope.
it's a sign, bro. You got to read it.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
man. So I took that and I'm like, my life is always a continuous fight for victory because I'm a firm believer that generational curses are never broken, but it's a continuous fight. You can suppress it, but you have to continue to fight it because you may say I'm gonna break it or I'm not gonna do it anymore, but that thing is still there. The thought of what you did in the past is still there.
What is a
So,
curse to you, though?
It's a lot of different things. So bad habits can be a
Okay, yeah,
form of
okay.
a generational curse, different things like that.
Like in terms of like somebody's weight or like bad habits in terms of like abusing a certain drug, right?
So,
It's
yeah.
kind of like that.
Anything, abuse of a drug or even bad food habits, because
Yeah.
I did have that as well. My family, we're from the South, so we eat pork chops all the time, fried pork chops.
Yeah.
We eat fried pork chops with anything. But I
Mhm.
didn't notice until I got to college that I'm really contaminating my body
Yeah.
because it's not something that I need. I don't need that much grease, especially at a young age, man.
Yeah.
So now I'm fighting things like high blood pressure. I'm fighting things like diabetes because that's something that's very prominent in my family.
Mhm.
And it's not that the sickness is prominent, but it's the bad habit that's prominent in my family.
Yeah. Damn.
When did you write that book?
Yeah, and what inspired you to write it?
Man, I wrote that book in 2019, if I'm not mistaken, 2018 or 2019. And it inspired me to write it because I had got to a point where a lot of things in my family were going on that we didn't talk about. So I felt like I needed an outlet to be able to talk to someone about it and be able to, just do it because I had, like I said before, I had an issue with being honest. I had an issue with saying the things that I needed to say. So I decided to have my own little diary and write it all down.
Do you find it easier to write in the diary? Because I know some people pray to God and that they use God as an outlet to say whatever they need to get off their chest too. Do you think it's easier to talk to God or to write things down in a diary?
So for me, it's a little bit of both, but it really depends on who the person is. Some people, they're able to cast their cares on God and leave them there. Some people, they need to write it down. Some people have a prayer journal. It just depends on what works for you. Because honestly, for me, the first experience I had with writing, I have a tablet that on the first page I wrote something, but I never wrote anything else in it. And I wrote about a really bad experience that I had, but I felt the release of that experience just by writing it.
Journaling helps a lot too.
It
Believe it or
does,
not,
man.
it helps.
So that's just your diary, that book?
Yeah, for the most part.
It's cool.
But-
Yeah, dude. Like you're creative though, dude. Like doing
Yeah, for
books,
real.
doing video, minister,
Fuck.
music. Dang, dude, that's cool. Yeah, I know. Going back to like bad habits and curses. Like for me, I think like a bad curse in my family or habit is like drinking. So yeah, so like my grandpa died from drinking. My dad drinks every day, but he's not as bad as my grandpa was, but like it's still a habit that he drinks every day. You get me? So like I'm trying to break that curse to where like I don't have to drink every day. So like I drink maybe like once every like 3 weeks, if I go out.
Yeah,
But yeah, like I feel like that's a big curse and I'm breaking it. So
I mean, and the thing is, you have to manage it well.
yeah.
You have to be aware of it and call a thing a thing,
Mhm.
and you have to be able to manage that thing,
Yeah.
because eventually you're going to get to a point where you're managing it so well that you're not even going to think about it.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing for me, because drug addiction was a big thing in my family. My dad was smoking weed. My brother was smoking weed. Actually, I smoked my first blunt with my brother. And I'm like, before that, I'm like, man, y'all stupid. Y'all don't need to be doing that. But then once I hit that blunt, I was gone.
Oh yeah.
Man, probably 5 to 10 years,
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. And then once I started managing it, and I started cutting back, that's when I was able to finally say, you know what, I really don't need this, because it did become the point where I was depending on it. And I feel like that's why it wasn't for me, because anytime you're depending on something and you're not really depending on God like you should,
Yeah.
it might be time to quit it.
How did you break the habit though? Did you just do cold turkey, or did you like not smoke for like maybe once a week?
So I'm actually gonna show the girl this part of the video. That was this girl that I was, dating on and off, and she told me she wanted me to stop smoking.
Mm-hmm.
And this was probably our sophomore year in high school, and she's like, I want you to stop smoking. Came to class one day after I had just smoked. I thought I got rid of it. I had the eye drops, the Listerine, I had
Yeah.
it all. But she just knew, and
Girls
like
just know.
she looked at me and she just bawled out crying. She was like, "You told me you were gonna stop smoking." And I was like, dang, bro, I really got to do this now.
Yeah.
Because there's people that are depending on me that really care about me. She knew the issues that I had in my family with my father and things like that. So she knew that me smoking was not a good thing for me, because it caused me to be angry. And that caused me to have an anger issue. And I reacted rather than responding to a lot of things. So she knew that I needed to quit. And by her telling me, or that experience with her crying, it kind of, opened my eyes to what really needed to happen. And eventually I got to a point where I just let it go.
Yeah.
Cold turkey.
Not necessarily cold turkey. I was
Yeah.
still sneaking here and there.
Yeah, yeah.
I had a little
Okay.
sneaky link with it. But but yeah,
There you
eventually
are.
I was able to let it go. Yeah.
Lie, dog.
Yeah,
What?
I cleared out my grinder,
Yeah.
and then I was ready to let it go.
Oh, okay, I get you. I get
You
you.
think that was a sign too?
Oh yeah.
For her to bawl crying?
Yeah, it was, because she's a very strong person. She was never like that.
See, dude.
And for her to show me that type of emotion, it was like, okay, yeah,
Yeah,
this is real.
This
Yeah.
man works in mysterious ways too, man.
Yeah, man.
it's pretty cool.
That's
Yeah, so
crazy.
just like by meeting you, by being on the podcast with you, seemed like you're a good guy and have good morals. So like, who kind of influenced you to be you?
Okay, so I have a mentor back home. His name is Cedric Francis. He actually has the Lead to Greatness podcast and also the Marriage Coach podcast.
I feel like I heard that podcast before.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. He's actually my cousin,
Okay.
and he was my pastor when I was in Texas. So he shared a lot of things with me. He had some of the same issues that I had, and he just led me to believe that I could be better than who I am. And he also connected me with a lot of different, good resources. Like you guys probably heard of the motivational speaker Eric Thomas.
Oh yeah, Eric
He's
Thomas.
very connected with him. Bishop T.D. Jakes, he's a big
Oh,
pastor in
dude.
Dallas. Pastor Keon Henderson, he connected me with a lot of different people that, aided me in the process of becoming who I am.
That's cool. Do you advise young people, like say like the 20s, to go get a mentor?
Most definitely. So I feel like you can't be successful without a mentor. You
Yeah.
need someone that's been where you're going, and just can see the path differently than you can. That has that experience, because they're able to keep you from hitting a lot of roadblocks
Oh
and
yeah.
crashing and burning, if at all possible. Because sometimes we do a lot of different things. Like when I first became a minister, man, I had a ministry page up, I had a logo, I had a seal, I had all these things, but I was actually jumping ahead of myself because I had just started preaching and I hadn't done enough study. So
Yeah.
now I'm looking like somebody that has everything that they need, but I didn't have the actual, I had the look, but I didn't, well, let's say this, I had the quality, but I didn't have the quantity. So I looked like I could be in a room, but I didn't have the capacity to fill the room.
Oh, deep, deep, deep,
God
deep.
damn.
Yeah. So yeah, like I feel like mentors good too, cause I had one at work, like he helped me grow a lot in terms of like how to be a good leader, how to talk to people, how to persuade people to do something for you. Um, and I feel like podcasts too, podcasts and books are a good way to not be like a physical mentor, but like a mentor online. So like they teach you like lessons in terms of like everything, dude, like leadership, finance, business. So yeah, like podcasts too. And I want to get a mentor too, because I feel like mentors could go for anything. Could be for a certain career path you're trying to go towards. So you could find somebody in that field already, reach out to them, be like, I'm trying to be where you're at someday. Can you teach me the steps to get there? Um, yeah, cause like in terms of a mentor, I'm trying to find one right now too. Because for my business that I got right now, it's growing, but not the pace that I wanted to. So I'm trying to find a mentor right now and find somebody that where I'm trying to be at, and then whether it's free or pay them, just reach out to them.
Yeah, man, and it's built on genuine
Yeah.
relationships, And I would say never be afraid to connect with someone,
Mhm.
because I had a personal experience in business. The business department at my school, we had something called professional development, where they would have business professionals come in and speak with us and teach us different secrets that you don't get out, in the outside world. So I had just released my book, and I remember one of the guys that I really looked up to in the business department. His name was Taft Mohair. I gave him my book for free because I just wanted someone to read it and I wanted to really connect with him. But then Matthew Knowles came to the school. You guys probably don't know who that is. Beyonce's dad.
Oh,
He
okay.
came to the school. And I had this burning feeling like I just need to give him my book for free, because I just want to connect with him. Bro, I got so nervous and so scared that I did not take the opportunity. And now I literally regret not giving him that book, because I just wanted him to know my name. Even if
Yeah.
he threw the book away, I wanted to make that connection and show myself that I can network with anybody.
Yeah.
Mm.
Damn,
Right.
that's cool
Never
though.
be afraid, man.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, if, like going, just having a mentor too is good because like say if you play sports, like we had a coach and like they were kind of our mentors. Like they were our dad. I was outside of home.
Mhm.
So like continuing to get mentors as you grow and find people that you want to take their traits from is a big thing to have growing up.
Yeah, most def. Most
Like
def.
like you said, they don't even have to be called mentors per se. Like you said, coaches. It's just people who have
Yeah.
knowledge in the same field that
Like a
that you can
field
feed
the
off of.
field that you're trying to be in
Mm.
or go towards for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely.
I don't know if I'd compare a coach to a mentor though,
I
Depends
because
on their
do.
knowledge
I
level.
guess I mean I don't know. At our level,
Well,
it's kind of way different.
they were
But
a
Yeah.
mentor in terms of football, but some coaches were good coaches to the point where they would teach you the game, but teach you life outside
Hmm.
of football also.
Mhm.
Because like growing up, I'd like say a good like five coaches where they taught me a lot about life and like how to be a man outside of football.
Yeah, and most mentors are nothing but life coaches. They teach us the things, and you have to be available to open yourself up to allowing them to coach you in certain areas. Because for me, my thing was I thought I knew it all,
Yeah,
and I thought I had a lot of, because I did have a lot of talent, and it was like trying to get somebody to tell me what to do was kind of hard, because this comes naturally. This is something that's not taking a long time. I can literally watch a video, for example, photo editing. I could watch somebody do it on YouTube and then I got it. That's just the type of person I am. I'm a visual learner. If you show me how to do it one time, I got it. But it was hard to just humble myself and say, I'm gonna allow somebody to teach me something, and it took me being able to be coached and being able to be acceptable to that information.
Being coachable.
Yeah, man, most definitely. Because ultimately, you have to be humble enough to accept it, whatever it is they're saying. Because there are going to be times where your mentor is not going to, tell you things that you like to hear. They're going to hurt your feelings sometimes. They're going to
Yeah.
let you know, hey, that video that you put out, it was trash. Delete it. Things like that. And you might have felt like it was the best thing ever, but you're stumbling over your words. Your
Yeah.
grammar is incorrect. They're looking at things like that because they're looking to coach you and to make you the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
And if your mentor can't do that, most likely they don't need to be your mentor.
A mentor too, I feel like to be a mentor, yeah, you have to be okay with your mentee passing you up.
Yeah.
That's a big thing too. And I think the first step to finding a mentor is just knowing that you don't know everything, and to be coachable too. That's the big
most
thing.
definitely. Most definitely.
You gotta be open to that constructive criticism.
Yeah,
too.
it's like working out too, because say if you work out, you're breaking down that muscle and trying to grow that muscle too. So like the same thing, you're taking in um things from that mentor, where to the point where it's feedback, and with that feedback you have to take it and grow from it.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Dude, game.
Yeah, we're giving out the jewels today, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I mean,
Spin facts.
yeah.
So how old are you right now?
I'm 26.
26, dude. That's crazy. You're 26 and like know a lot for your
Yeah.
age.
I always
Fuck.
prayed for wisdom, man. And
Yeah.
and I hung around a lot of older people growing up. I didn't really care for my crowd like that. My music was different. I used to listen to old hip hop, A Tribe Called Quest, DJ Jazzy
Oh yeah.
Jeff, the Fresh
Yeah.
Prince, Slick Rick,
Yeah.
all those people. That's what I listened to because they were spitting the knowledge. I didn't
Yeah.
really care for the new
Simon
stuff.
Beast, dude, just like flowing
Yeah,
words.
man. Yeah, and that's why one of my most favorite rappers right now is who he is, because he's a lyrical genius. I think
Who
I
is he?
told you.
Who
His
is he?
name is Toby Wigway. Shout out to Toby.
Toby.
He just was on the Grammys.
I feel like I
What?
heard of him
Yeah.
before. Didn't he drop a song recently? And it was
Yeah.
like the video was like really good.
Yeah, it was like all green.
I think so. Yeah, I feel like I seen
haven't
it.
gotten
I
to
think I saw
listen
it on
to him yet.
TikTok.
You gotta see him, bro. They got a song that they're famous for called "I'm Dope."
I'm dope.
I'm
Dave
dope.
Chappelle told him he was dope, and he made a song about it.
Dave Chappelle's comedy.
And it was dope. Like everything about him is dope. The
You said
visuals,
Toby
everything. Toby
Nigel?
Wigway.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, man. You gotta look him up.
Imagine
Yeah.
being
From
told.
Houston too.
Imagine being told that by Dave Chappelle.
Man.
Shit,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm on top of the world.
And see, that's
Exactly.
the thing. Like, just going from that, getting that feedback from Dave Chappelle, to creating and continuing with his brand, he's able to be in rooms with them, and now he's on the Grammys. Music's biggest night, just from being consistent. And keeping the grind going. Because he started just doing something called Get Twisted Sundays, where he was just getting his hair braided, and he was spitting the flow, freestyling over a beat. People started to like it, and he
Wow.
built something on social media based off of just something small, and now he's a global, icon.
Yeah. Dang.
That's a dope way to just put yourself out there. Getting your hair braided,
Yeah,
spitting
man.
rhymes.
That's
Fuck
pretty
yeah.
cool. Yeah, bro, but like
That's
just
different.
seeing you right now at 26, bro, like you got the skills too, dude. Like you're good with music, photography. You got a wife that's doing psychology. You have a degree in business. Like with all those four traits, you're bound to do something big, for
Yeah,
sure.
man, I believe it. I have to be, at least my minimum is a millionaire before I check out of here.
Yeah, but same.
Like, I want to be to the point where they have to rent out a stadium for my funeral.
Oh yeah.
And I want people
Damn.
to be able to say that this guy was somebody, and he impacted my life, not just with words, but with showing genuine love, because that's the type of person that I am. Man.
It's good.
Game. Go ahead.
How do you plan to do that though? How do you
So
plan to like impact that many people?
So it starts small, man. Like, people that I meet in the grocery store, I can't be afraid to show love to them, because it goes a long way. You never know who you meet. You know, honestly, I didn't really know much about Matthew Knowles before he came to my college. And, if I had actually interacted in that moment, nobody, there's no telling to what that relationship might have been, and just building relationships from the smallest thing, the grocery store, on the job, different places that I work at, different people that I interact with. I feel like that's the start of it. Never seen anybody as less than me,
Yeah,
but always seeing somebody as who they are and as an equal.
exactly.
So what do you mean by showing love at a grocery store? Like, and how?
So, just being personable, speaking to people, you see that old lady that can't get something off the top shelf,
Yeah.
Help her. You gotta help her out.
offering yourself up. And
Mhm.
my biggest thing right now, I feel like I have to serve people. And it sounds crazy, especially being where I am in what my race experienced 400 years ago. It sounds crazy to be a servant, but I am that, because in order to be a minister, it
And to
means
be
you have to
serving.
be a servant.
Yeah.
So in whatever capacity that I can, that's what I have to do. My divine mandate that's on my life is to build others through various means of service. And I'm not trying to put our business out there, but that's the reason why I won't charge you guys for what I do for you, because I'm a servant. And what I have to do is to build other people. So regardless of if I get rich doing it or if I go poor doing it, I have to do that because that's my divine mandate that's on my life.
Dang. Dude, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you never really know what somebody else is going through either. Like, if it's a simple conversation, like, "Oh, how's your day going?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Random in public, that could make somebody's day.
Goes a long way.
Like, my girlfriend went to Starbucks, and you know how, like, they'll write, "Oh, have a good day,"
Oh, yeah.
on some of the cups. She was having a shitty ass day. So
Man.
she got that, read the cup, and she just started bawling out of control. And, that's impact, like you're saying, that's serving purpose to somebody else too. So that's hard. I appreciate people like that too.
Mm.
And because the world we live in is a fucking pot full of negative,
Yeah, man.
so I really can appreciate somebody like that,
Yeah,
Yeah.
most definitely.
Yeah. Going back to work too, like I think like most jobs, their managers are just a manager and not a leader.
Mm.
I feel like a leader, you have to be a serving leader. You have to serve your people. If you don't serve them, they're gonna say, "Fuck this job. I don't want to be here." Because like people quit their jobs because of their bosses,
Mm-hmm.
for the main part. So if you want your people to work for you and to stay with you, you got to be a serving leader.
Yeah, man. And a good thing with that, I'm gonna plug something in right here is and give this away for free. A book that I read was called The Five Levels of Leadership by John C.
Oh,
Maxwell.
I've heard of that book.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And it talks about, someone going from level one, which is a positional leader.
Yeah,
People follow you because you have the position, to being a pinnacle leader, to where people follow you because you have all the qualities that a leader needs.
yeah,
Sorry, I
John,
don't mean to laugh, but
yeah,
It's all good. It's all
yeah,
good. Got a lot of behind the scenes
yeah.
work going
yeah.
on.
John C. Maxwell is a good leader too.
Yeah, man.
Mm.
He has
He's
a
got a lot of
podcast
great
too, and
books.
he drops gems all day on that podcast.
Yeah, most definitely.
Is that it right there? A little over an
Um,
hour. Anybody got questions?
don't you have a kid, right?
I do have a kid.
Okay, it's a boy, right?
It's a boy.
How old is he?
He's 15 months,
15 months.
so a
Okay,
little over one.
congrats.
He's that young?
Yeah, bro.
Damn.
October of 2021.
October
Okay,
what?
nice.
Yeah.
How did being a dad change your life?
Oh man, it opened my eyes to another commitment, and it showed me what agape love really is. Love
What's that?
without any fault, or loving in spite of.
Mm.
And regardless of what happens, I still love my kid. So my kid can literally spit in my face, and
Still
I
love
still
him.
love him. And my love for him never changes because that's just what it is.
It's just like God too.
Right? Same
Same
love,
kind of love.
father and son.
Has he done anything like that yet? Like pooped on you, peed on you?
So I've been peed on a couple times.
no.
He hasn't pooped on me. He hasn't thrown up on me. He threw up on his mom, but he never threw up on me, which is pretty dope because it's
Yeah.
like we got that connection where he knows they don't do that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's funny.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
man.
That's crazy you bring up that term agape love. Because when I was a child, I threw up in my mom's mouth. If my kid
Why?
would have thrown up in my mouth, I don't think that term would be a term anymore, man.
Ooh, man, it's
I don't
tough.
know. I'd be so mad if my fucking baby threw up in my mouth.
It's
I
tough.
still love him though.
But I mean, from the moment where he was born, and I seen that he actually had a pretty bad accident. He kept like dookie on himself.
Yeah.
he just kept doing it. Like the nurses had to get multiple blankets to cover it up because like it was pretty bad, and they wouldn't give them to me in that moment. But I'm like,
why'd they give him to you?
I don't know. I'm like, don't give them to me. Like, man, take care of that. 'Cause, you know, when babies come out, they still have a lot of things that they had from the wound on the
Yeah.
inside.
Yeah.
So it was pretty bad, you know, from the smell and everything.
Oh,
So
shit.
no, but once he got with me, he, you know, it's like he was calm and he was just chilling. Like I have videos where we were just sitting there for like 15 minutes just bonding, you know.
Mhm.
And once you look into your kid's eyes, man, you're gonna be like, yeah, it's my guy or this my girl, you know, and that's gonna be forever.
Yeah, that's cool.
What's your son's name again?
Cairo Alexander Hitchens.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah, it
what
means,
did? Yeah, go ahead.
Victorious defender of the people.
Oh,
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
how do you
That's a
get that
badass
name?
name.
Is it inside the Bible or?
So they have a thing in my wife's family where the firstborn's name starts with a K.
Okay.
And they picked Cairo. And once I figured out that it meant victorious, I thought of a like kind of a creative middle name. I was actually jam breaking at work. You know, that's when your mind is really going when you're jam breaking because you're by yourself. And I'm like, my son's middle name is gonna be Alexander. And I looked it up and it just fit. Like it's a whole phrase, you know. So
Yeah.
that's what
Alexander means what?
defender of the people.
Okay,
Dang.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
that's fire. Imagine that being your name.
And it fits too. It fits perfect too.
Yeah, man.
Damn.
Everybody should look up what their name means. It'll help you a lot in life.
Mine
Yeah.
isn't crazy. I've looked it
Yeah,
up.
mine not either.
But fuck, dude. 2021 being his birth year, that sounds crazy too.
2020. I'm born in 2001.
Man,
Oh,
So
jeez. I'm born in
2021, 20 years later.
96.
96?
96.
Okay, that's not bad.
90s baby.
90s baby, man. I had all the good cartoons.
Yeah, I think we did too, though.
We
Yeah,
caught a little bit.
SpongeBob.
I think we got
I'm
some
cool
good
with
ones.
SpongeBob, yeah. SpongeBob's the greatest of all time.
I'd say.
No?
I
You don't think
agree.
so?
I would agree
I
with
don't
you.
think so.
Well,
That's not arguable.
SpongeBob wasn't on Boomerang.
Oh,
you gotta
Boomerang
remember-
was yeah.
Boomerang was that thing.
Yeah, it
was
was.
OG.
All right.
What do you watch growing up?
I watched a lot of things. The things that I can remember right now was Fairly Odd Parents.
Oh yeah, I
and,
watched that one too.
I think I watched Hey Arnold,
I was seeing
Rocket Power.
too young for that one. Too young. Yeah.
That's before your time, but those were cool cartoons.
Yeah.
Cartoon Network was that thing, you
It
know.
was.
I couldn't stand either one of those
I had to
shows.
stop watching it when it started turning into Adult Swim.
Yeah. Yeah.
they make those subtle jokes.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
those SpongeBob subtle jokes. Like when
Yeah.
SpongeBob was like watching sponge porn, and
What?
then Gary walked in
Oh
on
my
him,
gosh.
and then like Gary, and he changed the channel real
I
quick.
don't
You
know
don't remember
I
that?
don't know what you're watching, bro.
He was
but
watching that
that's
sea
not
urchin
SpongeBob.
porn.
That's not SpongeBob, bro.
That was SpongeBob.
Yeah, you got the different shit.
No,
bro.
I know what I'm talking about. I remember SpongeBob vividly. He was sitting down. You remember the music? He's like, dun, 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 dun,
I
dun.
don't know,
I had a
bro.
little bit of SpongeBob. I think I was done with the I'm Ready though. You know, it was a little much.
Yeah.
And then my favorite one though was the Krusty Krab pizza.
Oh
Because
yeah.
dude could sing on that.
Hell
Whoever
yeah.
he should have made a whole album.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's the greatest of all time because everybody has, like, they remember all the fucking scenes from
How
SpongeBob.
many seasons did SpongeBob
They're
have?
still going.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not as good anymore. Let's see. Let's
It's
I
kind of
feel like the older graphics are better too. I've seen the newer graphics, but I like the older graphics.
They're doing
It gives
too
a
much.
certain vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not the same.
SpongeBob seasons.
They got the Weenie Hut Junior like
Did you watch
graphics. now.
iCarly?
I did. I had a little moment with it. It was
Okay.
cool. You know, that's when I was a tween. I was trying to figure out the world, but
Yeah, yeah.
a lot of different things transpired. So I
Yeah.
stopped really watching TV during that time.
Oh yeah.
Season 13
13 seasons.
came out 3 days ago.
Jesus.
Probably 5,000 episodes.
I like
Yeah.
Let's
the
see.
old Salty Splatoon graphics.
Yeah, facts. The movie was fire too.
Oh yeah.
I don't like the second one
SpongeBob
though.
Episodes. Amount?
What was it? Sponge out of water? I didn't like that one.
281 episodes,
Man,
That's a lot.
that's a lot.
including the one released 3 days ago.
Dang. So I'm gonna take a little bit of turn, but in terms of your marriage, like, how did you know that your wife was the one?
Whew, man. So I I was done with dating. Like I was completely done. And I told myself the next person that I get with is gonna be my wife. And she kind of had said the same thing.
What age was that?
Oh, I got married when I was 19.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So one of her friends was like, "You need to meet my friend." And I'm like, "Nah, get away from me. You're kind of icky. Like I ain't really feeling that right now." You know, shout out to Bethany. But yeah, it was pretty dope the way she set it up. We actually met at a church, and I didn't know that that was the friend that she was trying to hook me up with.
Mhm.
And the way that it happened, the guy that was singing that night, he was like, we in the black church we do this thing where it's like turn to your neighbor and grab their hand. So I turned and my neighbor was her, and I grabbed her hand and he said, "Now tell them after this night you'll never see me the same way again."
Mm.
And we both said that, and it was like crazy after that.
Like
And
meant
I
to be
tried to,
almost.
yeah, it was meant to be, but she kind of shied away from me. She gave me an Instagram instead of the number,
Oh,
so I had to slide in the DMs
yeah,
like
yeah.
I never met her before, you know. But one thing led to another, and one night we had this conversation where we were just on the phone all night talking about life and how
Mhm.
similar we were. Both of our grandmothers were in the church, and our fathers were in the church. Our parents were doing different things. She liked some of the same things I like, some of the same music, and it didn't take long. We dated for probably 6 months after being best friends for a little while, and you know, once we knew, we knew.
Dang.
It's not hard to tell once you know that one, you know.
Yeah. Dang, that's
Very
cool though.
engineering.
Were you kind of scared though, like
I'm
taking
still
that?
scared. I'm still
Yeah,
scared because it's a continuous fight. You know,
it is.
it's always a battle to stay committed to something, stay committed to one thing. You know, it takes a lot of drive and motivation to continue to fight and continue to say yes, because anything in life that you really want and you want to stay committed to is going to take a lot out of you, you
Yeah,
know. And I feel like that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize about marriage and relationships in general. In order to stay in something for a long time, you got to take it takes commitment, it takes everything that you have. And that's part of the reason why I moved from Texas to come out here with nothing, because I'm giving everything I got. You know, I have to, in order to make this work, I have to completely die to myself and what I believe and make this happen.
do you believe in death till death do us part?
I do.
You
I
do.
don't believe in divorce. I don't talk about divorce with my wife.
It's a
You
bad
know,
word.
it's a bad word.
The
And
D word.
the idea of it is pretty bad, you know,
Yeah.
because if you open that door, it's like you open it up to a possibility, you know, and
Hmm.
that's not what you want to do. So
Yeah.
What does that mean? Till death? What?
Till death do us part. So like, even when if your spouse dies, like you still gotta stay loyal to him, pretty
Mm.
much.
well, death do us part is a part of the vow. So, you know, after death does you part, well, you guys do part ways, you
Yeah.
know. So it depends on who it is. Do you want to stay loyal to this person? Do you want to remarry? Some people decide to remarry, but according to what we believe, that's the only way for us to remarry. So if we were to get a divorce, then I wouldn't remarry, and she's also made that commitment as well. She wouldn't remarry as long as she's alive, because we met our soulmate. And you know, if we decide to separate, that's what it was. We were married, and that's what it is. I got my wife, and I know who she is. So even if we do divorce, that's my one.
You're using it, man. You're using the D word.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, man, because it's pretty bad. You know, I don't like to open up possibilities to negative things. I don't like to speak those things over my life. So,
Yeah.
you know,
It's like a spell almost.
yeah, it's what they call a word curse, but that's a whole different lesson for another time.
Yeah. 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 So how do you guys incorporate your faith into your marriage?
So, anytime you think about it, you can think about it like when you were a kid, you would draw a house, you do a roof, and then you have the two sides.
Hmm.
The roof in our marriage is God. And then the thing holding it, you know, holding on to the roof, honestly, because we're holding on to God, is us. And then on the base of it is, our children, and then everything else that goes along with the house. That's the way we think of it. God is the covering. God is the center thing for a house. Because anytime you have a house, if you don't have a roof, you don't have anything to cover it. It's just something that's just there. Maybe a shed. Anything can come in. You know, anything can go on. It can burn down. But if you have the right roof, it keeps you from storms. It keeps you from bad weather. It keeps you away from anything that may be happening. Some people like to have leaves in their house. I don't. I
Yeah.
don't like to have dirt. I don't like to have contaminants. So I keep that
What's
covering
what's
first.
dirt to you though? And
Oh,
leaves.
so
What could that be?
man, we going in tonight. Dirt or contaminant would be the negative things that we just talked about. I don't like
Mhm.
to have any negativity around me as a person. I'm not confrontational. You know, I don't like to have outside sources for different pleasures. If
Mhm.
you guys get
Yeah, yeah,
what I'm saying.
yeah.
I don't like to have that. I like for things to be genuine and to be pure, and I like for it to be me and my wife agreeing together. So,
Okay. How do you guys keep that love lit or like on
oh
fire?
man, a
Do
lot
you
of
guys have
date
like
nights.
yeah, like day nights once per week, twice per week?
Yeah, well, it's not necessarily on the schedule because we do work a lot, but
Mhm.
it takes, some commitment to different things, like whether, like we said, a date night, or if we go just see a movie, something like that, or we watch a movie together. Those are the things that you have to do to kind of keep that spark. It's just you never stop dating her. Once you get married, doesn't mean that you're locked in and there's no commitment. You have to keep dating her. And that's what my big brother always told me. He kind of got married after me, but to be in a functional marriage, you have to keep that spark lit.
Yeah.
Yeah, be like how you just first met her the first day.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you can't. I mean, you can't necessarily see her differently. You have to see it as I'm still trying to get this girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
I met
Still
this
in the
guy
DM.
that's that started doing this thing with his wife where every 7 days it's a small date.
Mm,
7 weeks is a small getaway. So
mm,
like city, maybe a night out, and then every 7 months is a vacation. So I was like, that's pretty cool. Like, you get to travel twice a year,
yeah.
roughly, and then you're going out a good amount, like to where it's not a lot,
Hmm.
but you're still getting that connection too,
Yeah, and you're being intentional about it. That's one
Yeah.
of the things that our mentors talk to us about in marriage counseling. You have to be intentional. You have to find ways that showing your partner, I am doing something to make sure that you know that I love you and you know that I'm still committed to this. Whether it's buying a small gift or just saying, giving compliments, being intentional about it is what helps you to stay in it.
Yeah. Yeah, same like for me, like me and my girlfriend, I see her well like twice per week, but I see her on Saturdays too to work out.
Mm,
So I see her on Wednesday like at 5 p.m. ish, and then we go out to eat, go hang out. Then on Thursday, she comes to me, and then we go out, go out to eat again, hang out. Then on Saturday after work, I'm off like at 8, and then she's off like at 6, and
mm.
then we go work out like 9 ish. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
man.
how we work it out. Cause like during the week I'm busy with school, the podcast, my business, so it's like hard to balance everything out. So that's why I tell her like I'll see you twice a week during the week at this
Hmm.
time. So like it's set already.
Yeah, and it's something that you can commit to,
Yeah, exactly.
Starting small is good. Never despise small beginnings
Yeah,
because small beginnings can grow into something great.
yeah. Bro, you're deep,
Dude,
bro.
he is.
Deep.
He's a preacher, man. What
Yeah.
do you
I am, man.
expect? Anything else?
Oh, what you guys do? Questions?
All good, man. I enjoyed myself. Thank you guys for having me
Yeah,
on.
this was
Yeah,
dope.
it was a good
I'm
podcast.
happy to be able to talk about some things. I will plug myself in here while I got
Yeah,
the
Yeah,
mic.
go
of
ahead, go ahead.
course.
I do have Legendary Memoirs, which is the podcast that I just started. Also on Instagram at Isaiah Hitchens. If anybody wants to follow me, connect with me, do some work, whatever it is you want to do, just let me know. Yeah, and I'm excited to connect and keep working.
And then your book was called Living in the ING.
Living in the ING, the
For sure.
continuous fight for
It's on
victory.
Amazon. Only
It's on
$4.
Amazon.
Go buy 15 copies. All right, man. That's us signing out. I appreciate everybody tapping into our first YouTube podcast. So that was dope. It's only the beginning. and we got Isaiah to help us out for a little bit, help us produce everything. So it's gonna be fire, man. It's gonna be a good year. So
Yep.
appreciate everybody and stay dialed.
Say that.